Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. Eli's still away in Germany, so I'm still your host for this week. He'll return next week. Mike will join us later. Flea is probably away somewhere. So far, it's me and Unoclay.
What up?
Yo.
2 weeks in a row, back for another round.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if I didn't drive all your listeners away, I'm glad to be another guest for this week. So,
Oh, of
hello.
course not. You're awesome. So I guess we'll just go right in to start with what we've been playing. I guess I'll start. I've been playing some Splatoon. I finally started the ranked mode, so that's tower control and splat zones. I know you already heard me riff about this Uno Clay, but bear with me for a second.
Oh, it's okay.
I,
The listeners are dying to know your opinions, man. Come on, give it to them.
I didn't mind the randomness with the stages because I felt like if they force you to use at least two or three specific stages, you kind of you learn the stage and you get in the flow of it. So you actually get to learn new strategies and how to actually play better rather than everything is random and then you can't develop anything and you're just kind of winging it. But I do kind of hate that the modes are actually random too, because sometimes I want to go on and be like, so what happened was Uno Clay, I think it was Jono, MJO, and myself were playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I joined their squad, and after that they all kept losing. Our team kept losing, so that's my fault. Um, so
No, we got some hard matches, man. It wasn't your fault at all. Don't be too hard on yourself.
it's fine. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, after we played that, which was tower control, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'm just starting, so I kind of suck, but I got a little bit into it and figured out some weapons I want to use. And then after, I'm like, okay, so they're all done. I'm going to stay up for a bit and try to go into tower control. And unfortunately, the maps changed, so the mode changed as well. So wasn't able to go back and play tower control, which is kind of sucky because like, I wanted to learn how to get better at it, but I can't. But I still got to play splat zones, which is it's cooler than I thought it was. So basically, there's one designated zone, mostly in the middle of the map, that you have to paint fully, and then hold it off as long as you can, with a timer that goes down to 0 or something like that. But if the other team gets enough paint on it, then it's neutral, so no one gets points, and then if they complete it, then they'll start lowering their counter. I think it's really fun. I like it because if I do turf war, I use whatever, the splash-o-matic, just a rapid-fire weapon, so I can get paint all over the place. But with the other two modes, I have to switch up the weapons I use. So for splat zones, let's say, because I noticed that I got killed too often, I ended up using one of the blasters. So basically, it shoots out a ball and then it explodes in midair.
Yeah.
So I tended to go for that weapon so I could kill people often if they got in front of my face, but also spray enough ink. Because the splat zones are fairly small, so it's not too hard to cover that area. So I like the fact that I actually had to change up not just my strategy, but the whole weapons I was using in some of my equipment as well. And then same with tower control. I don't usually go for long weapons, but I didn't use a sniper, but I used another gun that shot ink like super far. So I forget what my strategy was for that, but I think I was just trying to cover. Crap, what was tower control? I was just trying to kill people from like really far away, so that I'd have like enough time to kill them, and then it would also give me a long enough path to like swim my ink and then go onto the tower and then do that. So I really like it. It's fun. I just wish I had more control over which modes I played, because sometimes I'm in the mood for one, some I'm in another. Um, when I was a bit angry, I said, why don't you just randomize weapon and clothing and play the game for me? If I played Smash Bros. And half the time it changed from 1-on-1 to 8-player, I'd snap the disc in half. Because I'm like, I was so pissed off when that happened. I'm like, because I just wanted to play the mode I wanted to play, and I'm like, if it was like Smash Bros. And it changed to a mode I didn't like, I would just forget the whole game. But
Right.
I just got to get used to it. It is what it is.
I think you're in good, to offer both, affirmation and rebuttal to what you're saying. I think you're in good company. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who feel the same as you. Because, and being a Nintendo fan, as we all know, involves a certain amount of, like, giving in to their whims. They don't want to make a Metroid game for 5 years. They don't, and you deal with it. Star Fox, what's that? Like, it falls off the face of the earth, and you deal with it. We're going to make 9 Mario games, though, this year. You deal with it. And this is pretty immediate when you're playing in one game, and there's such a, like, kind of paternalistic, like, mentality where the game itself is dictates what's going on, the modes, the maps. It's been talked to death on every blog out there at this point. Everybody else out there has their opinion on this. Personally, I'm the kind of person who just tries to go along with the flow and try and see the good in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I had the same feeling specifically the day Tower Control arrived, because it was really rad. It's probably my favorite mode in the game in terms of competitive modes. And it probably has something to do with, I feel like I'm slightly better at it than Zone Control, so I really enjoy playing it. And I think it's a really just kind of a neat strategic concept that isn't a super complex thing to grasp, but there's a lot of different ways to come at it. And then the next day, if I'm remembering correctly, at least when I went back on the next day, Tower Control gone, Zone, back to Zones, and I'm like, it just came out yesterday. What are you doing? Like, I want to play the new mode, and you had no. So I can identify in that way. You're feeling the pain more, possibly in the same way I was, because you're new to the mode and you're hungry for trying it out, and like you said, you wanted to improve after having just played with some people who've been playing the game since launch. And and then you don't get that advantage because you happen to be online right at the time it switched. There's good and there's bad to it. I'm loving the way the rollout has gone with this game. I'm loving the way it keeps it fresh, even when they kind of yank things away from me like that. And I can't play this mode right now, or or for months where we couldn't do squads, and now that we can do squads, you and I and some other classic IGNers, people who listen to the podcast might remember Jono or MJ. Both of them are pretty active, old-time IGNers around for a long time. Not as active, I don't think, on the boards currently, but they and I have been playing together. MJ's madness to play with. He racked up 19 kills in one match. We noticed.
Oh my gosh.
Over the top, a kind of ridiculous amount of like skill that guy shows in every game I've played with him, which is mainly Smash and Splatoon, to be honest. But I inspired by him, I switched over to one of the guns that he was using. I'm never good with remembering the names, but the one that shoots kind of like a little bit slow fire rate, big splats. The one that's kind of a bejeweled looking gun, and it's really flashy. I was trying with it last night because my kill ratio I need to get that up, or otherwise I just look foolish. I'm good at covering turf and moving fast, but I get splatted twice as many as I kill usually in an average match, so I got to get my game together. So
yeah.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying on your complaints about that.
I wonder if they randomized some of the modes or the stages, or limited it at least at the beginning because there wasn't enough content. So if you're only allowed to play something at a specific time, then you have to return. So it makes you want to return. Maybe that was their idea.
It could be. I mean, I think there's been some reports that some of the content that they're claiming was like downloaded was actually on the disc, but I don't know a lot about it. So.
Yeah, it was basically everything up until, I think the August update might have been the last batch that was on the disc. So basically everything up until this point has been on the disc. Yeah. But I heard there was, not rumors, but someone data mined the game, and there's some other stuff on there too, including a map and some various weapons. I think they're just different versions of the new weapons we got, but I didn't write it down because I didn't want to see it, and I figured somehow you were going to be on the podcast, so I'm like, we'll put it on in case he wants to.
Yeah, spoiler alert. No, I do like being surprised. I wish I would have heard about Ryu before he debuted in Smash and things like that. I'd like to roll back to a time when maybe companies were somehow able to keep a lid on some of these secrets a little better, or maybe didn't do things that are so obvious, like put the soundtrack for Ryu in the game, knowing that people are going to tear the game apart, and find it, or at least they should realize that. Because I think Splatoon is obviously a new direction for them, and I think we're going to see more of it because the game's been so successful, been well received, and personally I think it's awesome. And I'm not alone in that, given the sales numbers and the amount of people that have really been converted over to it. I think we're going to see more games like this because they're looking for different ways to counteract the problem of too many games out there and them having not enough games. They need to give their games a shelf life that lasts longer than other things out there, so that they're not just another flavor of the month where they release games slower than everyone else, and then 2 months later, we're all sitting here saying, well, where's the new games? And crying about it and talking again about the third party problem. Well, they're saying, well, this is going to be a way. They're going to try to fix it. They're going to say our games are going to come out in waves, so that Mario Kart has a shelf life of 6 months, not 1 month. That Splatoon has a 4-month window where that's our game, and we can still talk about it, and it is relevant in the conversation of what we're doing. Not. And that might make some people angry, and if that starts to happen, then maybe they'll move away from it. But Splatoon's been working. There's been complaining, but then the people are getting converted. The love is out there for this game. So
yeah. Plus, it'll free up development time if they say make one finished game and then add content onto it, because that doesn't take a whole team years and years. So they can keep rolling that out while they're working other things on the back burner. So it's still in between.
Once they get it started, then you kind of have you have a window built in. Once you get it started with one game, then the next game can do it, and the next game can do it, and you're building windows onto the end of your game in terms of timelines and resources. Exactly. It's not totally fair. I mean, it's not. It's arguable that it's not totally fair that when you pay for a product, that the product has stuff in it that you don't get right away. It's kind of a new dimension, I can't handily think of an analog in non-gaming universe where that would be acceptable. I bought a new fridge, for instance, this month for my house, a refrigerator, and if they had told me that the ice maker wasn't coming for 3 months, but I paid for it already, I probably would have had something to say about that, or at the very least, my wife, would have been displeased with this rollout of the new refrigerator. I don't know.
It's interesting, but you're still getting it. It's not like they're charging you for it, so it sucks, but in the end, at least they're not scalping you out of your money, making you pay for what's on there. So Mike joined the podcast a minute or two ago. So Mike, why don't you say hi and I guess what you've been playing and what's going on?
I guess what the hell have I played? I feel like all I've been playing is still I haven't had as much time to play because of work, which blows. But I just been playing.
First of all, where have you been, man? I don't see you on the boards. What's going on? Tell the people.
Yeah. My last blog post, I told you guys I'm an academy, man. So I haven't had as much time to really jerk around. I just really been I'll come back. I'll be like, oh man, I'm tired and gotta eat, and then I gotta study. But then it hits Friday. I'm like, all right, let me play some Smash. Then Saturday, I'll just go out. I'll win a quick tourney. I'll be like, oh, here's gas and dinner money, and then and then I'll just be like, oh shit, it's Sunday. Let me do something or sleep, and then Baba Booey. But that's the life right now. But yeah, so. Right now I've still been playing One Piece Unlimited World Red. I just gotta get out a few more trophies before that platinum, so I could jump onto whatever next JRPG that'll take my life away. And the same thing with Sword Art Online Hollow Fragment, which is still a mediocre game. It's better than garbage than what it was the last time I was on the podcast, because I actually got another trophy for the first time ever, because I actually went the right way, even though this game has no sense of direction. So. And I feel bad because it came out for the PS4, and it's why would this terrible game ever be remade into another more? But whatever on that, so I got to do that. I want to download Sounds and Shapes, to be honest. That looks pretty awesome, and it was made by those Ho Come guys, those indie guys, and just I was thinking the soundtrack looks pretty cool, but there's a lot more games coming up that I want, like Yoshi's Woolly World, Persona 4 dancing game, and other random baloney. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, besides Smash, One Piece, and Sword Art, I can't move on a game until I get 100% platinum. So it's without that much time. So it's holding me back. I got Tales of Xillia 2 chilling. I got a few downloadable games that I got to get through.
And why'd you buy Tales of Xillia 2? You hated the first one.
Oh yeah, I hated the first one with passion. Like I gotta finish it. I gotta finish. I mean, I got the platinum. Let me get through the second game. Realize that game sucks as well. Get the platinum. I bought it on sale for $15, so it's not that bad. And then I'm gonna be like, man, what a waste of time. Like I have to go back to Tales of Symphonia, even though I beat it. I only have like 50% trophies, and it's bothering me. It's like, oh, you suck, bro. All you did was beat the game. It's like, yeah, I just only beat it, so now I gotta beat it all the way.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know the struggles. Right? You guys know shit.
Struggle.
Right?
Oh, this hard life of gamers in America.
I
It's
know.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
I can't keep up with my backlog.
Yeah, somebody's gonna go on my PS profile and be like, "Wow, look at all these platinums." Then they're gonna scroll and stop, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell is this? Casual scum! Didn't even get a platinum on that game." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Now I'm gonna get all the hate mail. Like, "Oh, you suck." Okay.
Okay. They're gonna add you just to give you hate mail.
Yep. I mean, I'm looking at people who have like 350 something games, and they have less trophies than me. I have technically 80 games on my PlayStation profile, even though in reality it's like 50 something, okay, physical, and some of them are the same game, and it's like, bro, how do you not have more trophies than me? How do you live with your life playing 300 games only to like 10% or 0%? Like, F that,
That's nice.
alright? Your mom bought you those games, you still gotta finish them out. That's how I was raised.
Kids these days.
Kids these days, man. What are they playing for 5 minutes and go, oh man, I suck, and then just stop playing, and poop, fart, and just buy a new game? Like, come on.
I think I played more. See, if they played 350 games, I played more games that I rented for free when I worked at Rogers for 5 freaking years. Jeez, that's ridiculous. So why don't we go on to Unoclay? Well, I know what you've been playing, but why don't you tell everyone else what you've been playing?
Okay, well, I want to hear what else you've been playing besides Splatoon, because I know you've been playing that, because we've been playing that together. And people, if you're listening out there and you want to get with the program, I play Eastern Time, 10 to 12, a lot of nights. I'm really into the game. I got hit up right before the podcast from another guy who used to be on IGN a lot. If we wanted to do squads, but I had to turn him down for you guys. That game's been definitely pulling me in. It's pulled me away from Smash and my amateur hour practice of Smash and trying to get better at that. I think I went I don't even know, six straight months where I played it almost every day that I was home, pretty much. I still am like a 4 out of 10 in terms of skill and such. But hey, I love the game. I know Mike can relate to that. And I know he always gives me positive feedback of saying you can get better if you try. And I'm like, you've never been me, bro. But
anybody can be a professional, man. If my jackass can do it, you can do it, man.
I hear you. I love it. I love that you have the positivity. It keeps me going. It keeps me dreaming. It's like I'm Rocky, just getting beat up again and again. I'm like, someday I'll be a contender, But
I'm gonna be like, you gotta dance, Mick, And then we're Rocky 3. We'll play on the beach. All right, you'll get faster.
Oh man, I can't. I'm from Philadelphia, and I can't even stand those movies. They're so freaking cheesy. But that's for another.
I cried on the second one.
Oh god. Oh man. Maybe if I would have seen it back in the day. Now when I watch them, I'm like, Stallone, really, dude can't even talk. But that's for the movie podcast. We gotta leave that one alone. I can go on about that, but lots of Splatoon, loving it. Gonna keep playing it. I can't see myself getting too far away from that in the near future. Still messing around with Smash, and on the Wii U, basically. That's really the majority of what I'm playing. I have a ton of games I want to download. Some of the indie stuff that's been out there. I just got a Captain Toad amiibo this weekend when I was down at GameStop for the pre-order thing. For the retro pack, because some guys that were there told me that Captain Toad amiibo had been discontinued, so if I wanted it, I should probably grab it. I don't know if that was true, but I was a sucker and grabbed it, so I can do the DLC for Captain Toad, because I did like that game and I 100%ed it, so I want to do that. That's something I want to get done pretty soon. Been playing a little bit of that Stealth Incorporated 2 game.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I like it. Anyone else play that one?
No, I got the Humble Bundle for that, but I haven't gotten to that yet.
It's a good one. It's a light little game. It's cool. It's got a good atmosphere. I recommend it if you're you want to play kind of like a 2D semi-stealth, more like a platformer with a minor stealth elements to it, but it's not exactly like a stealth game. Speaking of which, that's what I was playing. The only game I got to really play this weekend because I've been pretty busy was I actually paid $35 and got a copy of Metal Gear Solid for GameCube from an eBay guy, and
Nice.
and that's a high price to pay for an old game. I realize that, but you can't really get that game for GameCube anyway any cheaper than that, and I really wanted to check it out. So I'm loving it. Kojima's insane with those cutscenes. It's like
It's Twin Snakes, right?
it's the Twin Snakes version, and it's like I'm not a narrative guy in gaming. I've ranted about it on the boards before and stuff. I don't really go to games for movies. I do have a soft spot for him because his plots are, convoluted, bizarre. I like that he makes it into kind of a darker movie type experience. And so I have a soft spot after having played Metal Gear Solid 3 on my 3DS. I really realized like I need to play these games and get familiar with them. I do find myself zoning out and usually like kind of ignoring the cutscenes and like maybe looking at, the internet or something while they're going on and on and on, just kind of letting them play in the background. But it's a great game. I love the fourth wall aspects of things he does in the games and the way they play. So I was playing a bunch of that this weekend when I had a few minutes free. And I'm sure everyone out there is like, yeah, dude, that game is like, 15 years old. You don't need to talk about it a lot. And I agree. I'm just getting into it too. Other than that, on 3DS, I downloaded Afterburner 2, the 3D version. I love that stuff. It gives you a chance to actually survive more than 30 seconds, which is the case in the arcade with that game. It's brutally difficult. And I enjoy stuff like that. And I was replaying a little bit of Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. Just because those games are rad, and it's been years since I played them. So, Box Boy, still playing a little bit of Box Boy. I finished Mighty Switch Force, and that's it. I wanted to ask you guys, before I move away from it, like thinking of things that are on 3DS and Wii U, did anybody grab Xenodrifter? Because I had played that a few months ago on 3DS, and it's really good, and now it's out for both systems. I think they have cross-play for it, or cross-buy.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I've heard of the name, but I don't think I've actually watched any footage of it yet.
Mike, did you see that one?
Is that Metroidvania looking game?
Yeah, it totally. It's exactly is what it is. Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm intrigued by it. I literally have a list of games of stuff. I'm like, ooh, I have it as must buy, must play, and intrigued. And then like I have to go through it and really think about it if I want it, especially if it's not like mainstream as Mario. I'm like, do I want this not Mario game? So that's how I like classify things. I mean, I still have to replay Ocarina of Time because it's the greatest game of all time. Like it's like my yearly thing to do is constantly play Ocarina of Time. I'm like, do I have time to squeeze this between not Ocarina of Time? Like,
That's worthy. That's a worthy game. It's I can't finish the Master Quest on it. That's every time I pick it up, I'm trying to make myself play the Master Quest, and I'm like, I'm not.
Oh, Master Quest is so much better, man.
It's hard. It's insanely difficult, and I'm just like, I got stuck on like Temple 2 or 3, I forget, and I just was like,
Dude,
I don't know about this.
Yo, when you get to Gerudo Desert, man, we have to do the not the light temple. I forgot what they technically call it, but oh my god, you constantly have to go back from young kid to adult. It's like, hey, look, I pushed this button as an adult, goes all the way back as a kid. It's like, look, now I can move that rock. And it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it took me a while to actually finish that shit too, but I loved it. That's why I was like, anything that takes me a while like that, like not Skyward Sword, I'm snoozing and this game is boring, and I'm out of AA batteries because I keep falling asleep playing this game. But
Anyway, yeah, I'd say if you're in the mood for the Xenodrifter, to both of you guys and the audience listening, it's really neat. If you're looking for a game that's like almost a cartoony, short version of something similar to Super Metroid, comparing anything to that is ridiculous. But it's almost like the framing of the game is as though if someone made a Game Boy Advance sized version of Super Metroid. It's got similar dynamics, it's got similar weapon upgrades, it's the Metroidvania thing. I thought it was awesome. I don't usually beat games pretty quickly, but I'd say it's a pretty quick game to beat. I'd say it's a 3 to 4 hour experience. But it was worthy. I really enjoyed it. I almost wish that they'd sequel it relatively soon because I'd pay for it. So that's out there. I had already bought it, unfortunately, so I'm not going to pay again to get it on Wii U. Yeah. Maybe I can get it on cross-buy because of that, but I did just beat it recently, so it's not that important anyway.
Cool. All right, so we'll move on to Amiibo news. So, unfortunately, Disney Infinity sales are sliding. They gave a multitude of reasons, but I think Amiibo sales are starting to cut in since they sold 14 million recently since they've been out, so that's probably eating at them. So the next wave of Amiibo has been given a release date to be sold, whatever. So in September, throughout the whole month, because there's some on one day and then some like 2 weeks later. So in September, we're getting Zero Suit Samus, Olimar, Dr. Mario, Ganondorf, Bowser Jr., 8-Bit Mario, Duck Hunt, Rob, and Mr. Game & Watch. And I actually saw a Ganondorf amiibo at a convention, and he's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Like,
nice.
Yeah.
Did he look bigger than like Dee or a Bowser?
No. I think that's the issue with the human ones. They tend to be thinner, just because they don't have cartoonish proportions. But he still looks awesome. Like he's really detailed.
Oh, I'm not saying he should be. I was just curious, in terms of his dimensions, because Dee seems to be the biggest one from what I can see. I haven't opened him yet, but he's up next. He's sitting on the table next to me here. I need to make it
really well made too.
He looks cool.
Yeah, I was really impressed with DD. Like I was like, wow, they went in for DD.
Yeah, that's a lot of plastic right there. That's a big chunk of plastic.
Yep.
And speaking of which, the Mewtwo amiibo is also coming, according to Nintendo UK, on October 23rd, and he looks freaking awesome. I can't wait for that. Just awesome. I'm gonna get like Mewtwo, Rob, and then the 8-bit classic Mario because.
That's the one I'm most hyped for.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
I think they did it really well.
So that is in fact coming with the game, if I understand correctly. You can buy the 8-bit Mario with the Mario Maker? Is that correct? Someone told me that.
I think so. I know Europe has like a buttload of different bundles. I think in North America you can buy one that comes with the game, and then you can buy it separately.
Right.
I don't have anything specific, but I'm pretty sure you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking to do, because I swear I'm not going to get sucked into this amiibo thing outside of Smash, and then I just bought the Toad one this weekend, and then I'm like, I want to get the Splatoon one so I can see what the extra content is, and they're getting me now, and I'm like, dude, this is not cool.
I know, I have to plan which amiibo I want, or if I want a game. Because, well, if I don't get a game, I can get this many amiibo. It's like, dang it.
Yeah. I mean, this is real. I was in the line yesterday. I got up. I hate getting up early, for the record. I am the worst at it. I'm grumpy all day. I don't make sense. My brain doesn't work right. I drank like a thermos of coffee waiting in line, and I still was like, ludicrous by the time I got out of there. Like, my brain is just like, oh, what the hell did you get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning for? Like, I'm very fortunate in that. I apologize to anyone out there that has to get up much earlier than that every day. I don't mean to brag. I don't typically get up that early. And I'm down there in line, hanging out. I was like 6th in line. It wasn't even that big a deal. And by showtime at like 9, it was maybe 20 deep in the line. So it was not a mob scene whatsoever. It was very relaxed, in fact, and very orderly. GameStop did a good job with this one. But we were talking in line about a couple things about Amiibo. And one of the things I wanted to bring up and see if you guys had an opinion on, is it correct to say that after the wave that comes in September, is the Smash roster complete? Because I haven't had time to go look. And is that going to be it then?
Yeah, I did. Speaking of which, I did a little like mock art of the Smash Bros. Select screen with the Amiibo characters in place of the actual models. So the only ones we're missing besides this next wave are the DLC characters. So that's Ryu.
So Rob. Excuse me. Yeah.
Because we know, no, that's fine. We know Mewtwo's coming. So there's Ryu. I forget the other two. Roy,
Lucas.
Yeah, and Lucas, and then whatever the rest of the characters are that eventually come out. So
have they confirmed if those 3 are coming?
Yeah, they said that before. They just don't have like a specific date or anything.
Okay, so that's 2 more, because nobody in their right mind would want Roy. Why would you want that Fire Emblem nonsense, right?
So to put in perspective,
I care about, man.
To put in perspective, Mewtwo is solely coming in October. Jeez, October. So if they only said he's coming then I'm guessing the rest will be rolled out like the latter half of the year or early next year or something like that. Yeah, so
Did you guys Did you guys go for the retro pack, or is that not your style for you guys? What was your opinion
Well,
on?
I had work, but my brother's like, oh, I'm like, are you gonna go get it? He's like, I'm broke. I'm like, bro, it's $30. I would have spotted you the littlest of money for saving $6. All right, now I have to buy all three separate. The only thing right now is I'm missing Jiggly, Villager, and Marth, but I have 2 Gekugas, so maybe I can get a trade off with that.
This was another question I had for you guys. So, what we did not know, none of us that were in the line, maybe we were just out of the loop when we got there at the GameStop event, is that the package you're buying from GameStop is in fact a 3-pack box. It is not separate boxes, and we weren't aware. At least the people that I was in line with, we were all learning that from the sign.
Yeah.
And so it is confirmed those characters will come out individually if you're able to get your hands on them, but not from GameStop. Is that the way it's working?
As far as I've heard, yeah, because this is a GameStop exclusive, and the person who was leaking this information was saying they won't get individual ones. This is pretty much what they're getting, but you can obviously still buy individual ones at other places.
I do wonder if that had an effect on like potential like people who are buying for resale purposes, because then since you can't split them up, you're taking a bigger risk on like getting it, and then maybe if it turns out that the demand isn't there for at least one of the characters or something like that.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
That you can't break up the set, without unboxing it, So I wonder if that had an effect, because the reports I heard, just anecdotally via the internet, were that it was similar everywhere. I had heard about that it wasn't hard to get the 3-pack. You got in line. You got your pre-order as long as you got there on time. You had one, and in my GameStop, there were about 4 pre-orders you could have probably got after 9 o'clock, after the line was served, because I got back in line to get the Toad amiibo after these guys told me, yeah, that one's discontinued. You should probably buy it right now if you want that DLC. And I went back in line, and I joked to the girl. I said, "Hey, I'm back for my second round," and she didn't even blink. I think she was going to sell it to me, and she was just like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "No, actually, I'm good. Actually."
That's funny.
Yeah.
So no, there's a lot of amiibo.
So Mike, you weren't able to get them. Your brother didn't hook you up, man. That's terrible.
I know, right? Freaking. And you know what's funny? He's more the amiibo collector than me. I'm literally in it for guys I like, kind of thing. Then I inadvertently got some extras. Like I won the Splatoon girl amiibo at a tournament. It was also a bonus prize with the cash. And I was like, all right. I mean, I'll take it, kind of thing. And then it was like, I don't even have Splatoon, but it's like I have all these things. Like, dude, when that last wave came out, my Toys R Us, nobody went to it, which is surprising. And they just had the entire box of Greninjas. I'm like, yo, I could buy like 20 Greninjas right now. We went there at 10 o'clock, picked up every amiibo, and we went out, and we went to go eat lunch, and 5 hours passed by, and we're like, you know what? Let's buy one extra, Greninja. And somebody's like, oh, we'll trade you a Jigglypuff or a Greninja. We go back, that box is still full. Like, it was like, man, nobody noticed. Like, nobody just went to that Toys R Us, and I was just like, if only amiibo hunting could be that easy.
Yeah.
And also, I forgot about Palutena, which I was also at work when she came out.
Yeah, it was pretty much like the last one to arrive at Toys R Us that day, and then they like unloaded a whole box. It was hysterical. Yeah, let's just move on to some quick announcements. This isn't necessarily Nintendo news related, but I thought it'd be interesting. My Nintendo News is looking for writers, so if you want to write for a website, you might want to check them out. I thought I'd bring it up because I check their news all the time for this, so whatever.
That is neat. Yeah, I love their I love their feed. They do good work there. I don't know that I would have the time to like always be doing like copy, or whatever, which is basically writing copy all the time. But they're a good resource if there anyone out there is listening from that site.
Well, the funny thing is, Go Nintendo had an opening as well, and now they do. My Nintendo News does, and I was like, oh, I wonder how that would be like. But I don't think I'd be good for that job because where I get my news source is from both of them, and they get all their news sources from somewhere else. So it's like I can't report because you haven't reported on it yet for me to report.
Yeah, sort of circular position there. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'd give you the lowdown on like the way they're following. I mean, I'm going to bet that it's a lot of Google News alerts and like subscribing to all the professional channels where news gets dropped by the companies themselves. But I've always wondered that too. I'm like, well, if these guys went away, where would we get all our 24/7 Nintendo news? Come on.
All right. So an interesting thing. Hold on a sec. So Chris Pranger, who used to be on Escapist on a show called No Right Answer, he works for Nintendo's localization team, and he was on a podcast with someone. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet, but one thing he said was he explained why Nintendo uses the word new in some of their games. So apparently in Japan, new is like a cool and exotic term. So that's why apparently they use it. I thought it was kind of neat. But I don't know, I think it's poor localization because when you bring it over here and you call something new, it's kind of, I forget the word for it, hypocritical or... Not hypocritical, but it's the opposite. You're like, it's new, which basically means it's not new because you have to try to point out that it's new because it doesn't stand on its own that it tells you it's new. Yeah. So
I understand what you're getting at with that. At the same time, for me, I've always kind of sensed that kind of Japanese cultural sensibility to it when they do that, because it does feel like the way Super was the same way, for early Nintendo. I mean, it's, for God's sake, it's Super Mario Brothers for the same reason. It's to make it sound so incredible. You got to play it. It's Super. It's not just Mario. Who wants to just play regular Mario Brothers? They tried that. It was it was kind of okay game. But then they supered it up, and it was rad, and you'll never forget it. And I think it's probably I do not obviously know Japanese, but I'm gonna be willing to bet it's like he's saying, it's a cultural thing. And maybe I find that just endearing in a little bit of way. It cracks me up anyway. I'm like, everything's new and super and awesome and huge and great.
New, super, huge, awesome, great Mario.
That would be a good game. I'd play it. I already want to buy it for you.
I think it's just one of those localization things that works better in one place, but not necessarily the others. But that's neither here nor there. So Wind Waker, the Wind Waker designed Wii U is for $235 refurbished on Nintendo's website, if anyone was looking for that for a cheap Wii U and that one bundle. Zelda Triforce Heroes is coming October 23rd, the same day the Mewtwo amiibo is supposed to, apparently. Oddworld New and Tasty is still coming to Wii U and apparently soon, but the Stranger's Wrath port is apparently not coming anymore. Onimusha Tactics and Golden Sun have been rated for Virtual Console. A sizzle reel shows Limbo coming to Wii U. I think we reported it was only a rumor before. I don't remember if we said it was absolutely coming, but it is now. There's a rumor that the Walking Dead collection season 1 and 2 are coming to Wii U, which is interesting because it's a couple of years late. But I don't know. I like the first season, and it's been on practically everything. It's even been on the Vita, for crying out loud. So
those are pretty much like movies that are sort of games, if I understand correctly, or could you elaborate on what they're like?
They're point and click adventure games, and kind of a choose your own adventure. So in season 1, it doesn't really spoil anything, but at one point you might have to choose one person's side over the other, and then eventually that might lead to that will lead to someone's death. So there'll be an argument like, I believe in this side and I believe in this side, and it's kind of morally gray, sort of. Not always. But then you just choose the side, and the story changes from there.
So interesting. It's not really my kind of game, but I did hear everyone talking a lot about those games. It's curious if it comes to Wii U and it's a really cheap price point, or it's discounted. Maybe I would try one of them, but I haven't watched the show yet. I know it's
I don't watch the show at all. It's entirely different from the show, so.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
okay.
So you don't have to worry about that, thankfully.
Oh, neat, okay.
But at least it's good that it's coming with both seasons, because the choices you make in season 1 affect season 2, so it would kind of be pointless if they only offered one of them.
Yeah. So I mean, on the topic of everything you just ran down, there's a lot of games that are indie or third party that are getting ported over after they've already been out elsewhere. Mm-hmm. I can only say that I might only speak for a minority of listeners or people out here, but anyone that would hear this, I can say I am 100% behind you doing this. I'm a guy with too little time and a lot of love for video games, and I purposely only play Nintendo systems at this point in my life because that's all I really have time for, and I barely fit that in. If I could squeeze in an hour a day, I'm psyched about that. And so when you put your games in Nintendo systems, it might be a smaller audience in your mind for sales, but I'm out here and I try to support you guys. I try to buy those games. There's been a number of games I could list off that I would have never tried if they hadn't come over here, and I support it. So I'm happy to hear stuff like that come in, especially things like Oddworld and that Octodad, things like that. Because I've seen videos and I'm like, those games look friggin' hilarious. Like I want to play that, but I just can't break my rule. I can't start doing Steam, or I'll be like everyone else if you're in like 900 game backlog. And I just won't won't have time for things that are important, like Splatoon.
I just remember Oddworld because I think my cousins played it on PS2, and I just remember like the guy walking around farting the whole time. So that I'm like, that's amazing. I should play this one day. So in Europe, so Gamescom happened, so there was a bunch of European news for a bunch of Nintendo games. So Xenoblade Chronicles Wii U is out on the European eShop, and it'll give you a £9 credit towards the digital copy of Chronicles X. The Chronicles X also gets a Wii U bundle that's with the console and a limited edition. So that comes with... so the limited edition comes with the game, the cover art poster, world map poster, art book, and steelbook. And the console bundle comes with practically the same thing except for the steelbook and like a cover art poster. I don't know why they got rid of those two, but it is what it is. And Fatal Frame is also getting a limited edition. It comes with some portraits of spirits, a double-sided poster, an art book, and steelbook again. And apparently the European Club Nintendo still hasn't been kicked to the curb. So if you log in to Club Nintendo, the European one, with your Nintendo Network ID, you can get 750 stars. So they're still giving away stuff. So that's kind of neat and crappy, because I was a couple of points away from getting another game, but whatever. So now to some actual news, which is rumors. So there's a rumor from Amazon UK that Fire Emblem Fates is going to be one game, and you can choose which path you want to choose. So the way it works in Japan is there's the bloodline sign, and then like your adopted family path. So you have to buy which one you want at the retailer. You can't just choose within the game. You have to physically buy which version. And then there's a third DLC chapter. But what this sounds like is either you buy the game and you can choose which path you want to do, and then have to buy the alternate path, or it comes with both paths and then you choose one and then you can start a new file and do the other. I'm not sure which one they might do, but I wouldn't be too surprised if they have at least that as an option in the game itself. Yeah.
Mike, do you play Fire Emblem games? I think you do.
No, I hate Fire Emblem. I think it's mainstream bullshit, and everyone loves it for one game, and they've never actually played the whole series, so it pisses me off.
Listeners, we just retrieved Finish Your Beer. Mike hated on a famous classic series, so finish your drinks, everyone at home.
Well, yeah, everyone who loves it thinks it's a classic series. All those guys probably only played Awakening, so they're big fans, from 2013. Finish the code.
Well, someone's got to start somewhere, right?
But then they don't even go back and play the old games, and they act like Fire Emblem is the greatest thing ever. All they are is looking forward to it is the next game, and it's gonna shut the hell up. Sure. All right.
I guess I don't. I'm not in the same position as you, where you feel that way. But maybe if it was someone came to me with Paper Mario and said, "Oh man, I love." Whatchamacallit, Sticker Star, it got me into the series, then maybe I would be able to sympathize. Maybe I'm able to understand
claim Awakening is one of the best games ever, and the best game on the 3DS, and all this other bullshit. If someone would say that about Sticker Star, I would actually pick up their 3DS and
snap it. Oh, I'd snap it in half. It's so much more satisfying.
It would be good. It would be almost good though that if that happened to you, because you'd have nowhere to go but up. If you consider it fairly, it'd be like I would say. That is hilarious, and you have so much to look forward to. And I'm going to laugh at you as soon as you realize how wrong you are.
Well, the worst thing would be if you show them the older ones that are the better ones, and they're like, "I don't like this. It's not the same." It's like you have the wrong opinion. Shut up.
Yeah, well, it would be like, okay, so you just don't like games, then you just like, nonsense. Yeah, but I didn't mean to casually hate on Fire Emblem earlier. I was semi-joking. I did enjoy the one I messed with on the Game Boy Advance version. That was one of the club, Ambassador Club games that they gave you. That's really only the reason I play. I think it's called Sacred Stones, if I'm remembering correctly. And it was enjoyable. I got the idea. I did play it and found myself getting addicted to it, surprisingly, because it's really not my style of game. I got pretty far. I feel like I was probably near the end. I really don't know, though. And then it got brutally difficult, and I didn't really want to put the time into it. I do like to say I'm a completist and finish games, but since that one was kind of a free kickdown for actually buying a Nintendo product early or whatever, I didn't feel that invested in it. But I did like it. I don't mean to poop on the series. I just find it kind of strange how vehemently passionate a lot of people are for it, given that I'm on the outside of the whole caring about the plot thing, and I think that's why the series is lost. I mean, I just could care less. All I want to do is click through cutscenes when people start talking. I'm like, I do not care. Let's get back to the part that's called a game, where I press buttons and make things happen. I don't want to just listen to you chat. So, but I think the series does have something to offer. It's a cool thing. It's maybe I just have a lot of animosity because people that play the Fire Emblem characters in Smash usually whoop my ass. So maybe I'm just mad about that. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't mind story, like, as long as there's a good balance. The only thing I don't think I would like about something like Fire Emblem is that you just read a lot of text screens with flat pictures that subtly change. It's like, okay, this would get boring quickly. That's all.
Yeah.
So another rumor. I don't know if you guys have heard, but Konami has gotten some flack recently. They've been in the limelight, a bunch of employee nonsense, but through that whole ordeal of everything being released, there's a rumor that the game Momotaru Dentetsu, I hope I pronounced that right, might be made by Nintendo and come out next year. So it came from a Nokia article, which has gotten a lot of things right Nintendo-wise, saying on the state of Konami and its employees, and that tidbit was in the middle of it. So to give an idea of what it is, it's a board game that's basically Monopoly, where you buy and sell businesses. You can move around the map with like a car and a plane and other stuff. I don't know if it's around the world, but it's more than just like one city sort of thing. So that's neat. It was made by Hudson Soft, who Konami bought and then got killed pretty much. They're the people who made like Bomberman and I forget some other stuff.
Mario Party, the original.
Yeah, they made some of the sports games as well. So I don't know. That'd be interesting, but I don't know if it. We already have like Fortune Street and then Mario Party, which is dying, and then they had Wii Party. So I don't really know if Nintendo could flavor this thing up, to be honest. But so much for that. So Square Enix apparently is also considering Final Fantasy XIV. That's the MMO for the NX. Someone was talking into an interview, and they're like, yeah, on top of Dragon Quest 11 and 10, I think they also said they were thinking of bringing 14 over as well. So apparently Square Enix is really wants to dive into the NX. So that's neat. It's funny that a developer is talking about the NX before Nintendo is. Nintendo's probably like, shut up. We haven't closed anything.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. Maybe there's a certain amount of hype generation that they allow these people to do. They're like, well, you can say this much, but not that much, and get people talking, just like is happening right this second.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The thing is, I don't know why they would bother bringing it up in the first place, because it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense, because they don't have to disclose it. It's not like Nintendo where they had to disclose to investors or something that their next handheld was going to be a 3D handheld, that sort of thing where they had their hands tied. It's just like, oh, here's the new game, and we're also maybe considering it for the NX. It's like, dude, was that necessary? Is Nintendo fine with that, I guess? Like, it just doesn't seem like there's a necessary reason, but whatever. That's interesting that they're considering it and someone's talking about it. So next, Super Mario Maker will have over 60 levels. I don't know how many levels, because they said it's at one point some promo art said 100 levels, and this one's saying over 60. So I don't know if they refined that number or not. So I guess between 60 and 100, ballpark. I'm assuming.
Huh.
But besides that, one of the levels is actually being made by the Rayman creator Michel Ancel. So he did.
That's cool.
He created the original Rayman, and he worked lately on Origins and Legends, which everyone loves. So yeah, I think that's really cool that they actually got like another side-scrolling, like high-level developer to make a level for this. I hope they have. It's probably just him, but I hope they had like a bunch of other people do that too, because it'd be interesting to see like another person, like someone who also does side-scrolling, to put like their flavor of the mix into it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. They need to do that. Mike, you were going to say something?
No, I was gonna say that would be freaking awesome. Like just having it in that kind of style. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I made Sonic and I made him a level 1 Mario. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Rayman, everyone knows, is one of the best platformers out there. So that's clearly them pulling some strings there, because they must have had the same thought that we want to give this some extra oomph, to release this. It gets us a little buzz. It's another little like news cycle. We can get something out there. But not only that, like Rayman games just do have amazing level design. They rival Mario games, in their cleverness and their awesome entertainment value. So that's neat. I'm always behind on listening to my podcast, and I just was listening to NVC podcast from, I think it was like right after E3, and they were it was maybe the one. Yeah, it was probably the one right after E3, but they were talking a lot about their hands-on with Mario Maker, and their positivity was almost off the charts listening to that. So that really gave me some interest in a game that I personally I'm not like lukewarm on it. I'm just not the kind of person who spends a ton of time developing like levels and playing with level creation tools and things like that. It's not really typically what I look for in a game. I'm more someone who wants pros to build things for me, and I pay them to play them. It's the typical relationship. I'm not as much of a. I get my creative kicks elsewhere in life basically, and So hearing them say how fun it was, and that it's as much a toy in some ways, like kind of the way the tools interact with you as you play with it, and create levels. There's kind of unique buried features that make it entertaining, like a Mario Paint style type thing, made me a lot more interested in the game. So, and then them adding another buzz to it, like, we're going to have some guest star developers be on board with it, like you were saying. That's cool. It's making me far more likely to get this game right away rather than to wait and see what people are saying, because it's got a lot of buzz around it all of a sudden, or it's been building buzz for a while, and it's catching my attention.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? The level tool might be a lot more fun to play with, just because maybe they do it a lot differently, or they do something to get it right than others. Like, for instance, I don't really play online multiplayer for games, even if I have it. I haven't even really played for Smash, but that's just because I'm intimidated. But with Splatoon, I was, like, after I started getting into it, I, like, really loved it. I'm like, okay, I'm having a lot of fun playing online multiplayer. Like, this is probably the one game that I can really get into for online multiplayer. Also because I don't feel bad if I lose. But, so maybe it'll be that kind of situation with Super Mario Maker. Like, the level creator in Smash Bros. Is neat, but the tools are kind of bare bones. And then with Little Big Planet, it's kind of difficult to create a level easily, especially if you're using the 3D effect, where you have like 3 different layers going in the background, and just the way it moves around is kind of slow. So I don't know, maybe this one will do it right. It's definitely easier because you have everything right on the gamepad, and you could just drag and drop, as simple as that. So plus the fact that you can like shake the characters and it'll give them wings or something like that, and feed them mushrooms and stuff. Like, it does seem like it's a level creator, but also like a cool toy that has like Easter eggs and things you can fiddle around with. So
totally. Yeah, I hate the level creator in Smash Brothers. I haven't spent more than 10 minutes with it, perhaps, because I just get really frustrated with how janky it feels, how the lines go everywhere.
You can't erase anything, really.
Yeah, how I draw terrain and then it looks all lumpy, not the way I thought I drew it, things like that. It struck me as like, hey, they threw it in there, people like it, it's there, it's very similar to the version that came in last in Brawl. We're not going to spend a lot of time tinkering with what this is. It's here it is, and go for it, But I think it's almost like annoying when I play it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So that maybe contributes to me having that lukewarm reaction to like Mario Maker, where I'm like, like I'll wait for you to release another Mario game. I'll just buy that. But it sounds like it's going to be a good one.
I'm not a level creator either. I hear you guys on that.
You don't even do it in Smash, Mike, even though,
No, I never do it in Smash. I mean, my friend, he's like, hey, look, I made all the old levels. I was like, hey, that's not bad, but I hate anything art because I can't art. So I'm like even in Little Big Planet, I'm like, oh god, please, someone play this level that's not me. It's like it won't happen.
I mean, the thing is, like, I always compare it, like, mentally, perhaps the problem is that the tools are just not good, because I do like to art, as you put it. I have Photoshop open on my computer right now from something I was working on earlier. I really get a kick out of doing it, but that's because it has amazing tools. And I'm not saying Nintendo, I mean, Photoshop is like a $500 program, I'm not saying they should, have that level of skill and under the hood power that, Photoshop brings to the idea of arting. But yeah, I always get mad at it because I'm like, gosh, this is like, I had paint programs on my Apple II back in the 80s that were like more intuitive than this, where it's not all feeling broken or janky. So anyway, we've ranted about that enough. It's it's going to be way better than that. I'm positive. Not the way they're hyping it. It's going to be a good game. So
one joke I saw pop up that I thought was pretty funny was because there's Amiibo in it, you could potentially get a Sonic Amiibo, and someone was like, this is going to be the best 2D Sonic game in years.
It's true, too.
Oh,
sadly true.
I don't even know the last 2D Sonic game ever. Oh, it was like Sonic Episode 4 or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So the next thing that's kind of quick is for all those people who played Pokemon Rumble World, which was probably only me, you can now get 100 Pokemon Diamonds for free just for accessing it with like a code. I kind of got back into the game because of this, because the last time I left it, I was at an impasse where it's like I can't progress further unless I catch like a couple of rare Pokemon, but I couldn't also increase my level to get other gems and whatnot. So basically I either had to leave it or pay money, and I didn't want to pay money. So now I got back into it with this. So that's kind of cool. And also I didn't realize you can get gems for street passing people, but it doesn't automatically give them to you. You have to go into like the shop and then the rewards and then claim it. So I was like, oh, okay. And I got like 30 other diamonds. So that was neat. Is it?
I can't say anything about it.
Yeah,
not
no,
a Pokemon guy here.
It's like crack. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's not even
Do tell.
It's not an acquired
Keep
taste. It's not even an acquired taste. It's just like incredibly monotonous, but there's something I kind of like about it because it's so simple. I don't know. It's really one of those things where you have to play it and either you get it or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
So for Splatoon, there was a Japanese character that was getting a costume in Japan called... I don't know if this is the name of the character or the comic or manga or whatever, but it's called Ika Masume. And I don't know, it's a cute little like squid girl costume thing. I think she's like not a nun. Whatever. She's got like this cute little costume thing. I didn't know if it was coming. It was coming to Japan before, and then we heard with the August update it was coming in North America. So I thought that was cool because it's not. They didn't. I don't think they really had to release it. Like, it's not like Mario Kart 8 with a BMW, where one, that's paid for advertising, and two, anyone can recognize a BMW. Like, it's culturally relevant, whereas this Japanese character isn't really outside of Japan. So I thought it was cool that they brought it over here. Even though I still have to wait for the store to update and like give me the pieces of clothing if I want to buy them. Which kind of sucks. The store doesn't really refresh. Do you have to just like buy out everything in the store and then it will refresh? Because I only buy like one or two things, and then it's
no. I feel like it's day by day, but I don't really know. I had seen the thing you're in fact reporting on right now in the floating around the net, and I didn't even know what they were talking about. I was like, what is it? Like what are we getting? I got the impression it was something to do with the fashion.
Yeah.
Nintendo's obsession with fashion in games these days.
Oh yeah, the new Zelda game.
New Zelda games, Splatoon. There's a third one too, and it's not coming to mind. More fashions. The new Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
There's going to be all kinds of. You're going to be a fashion party, Fire Emblem fans. A fashion party nowadays with Nintendo, and I think it's hilarious. Again, it feels very culturally Japanese. Something's going on there. It's either a joke to them or they're dead serious. I can't tell, but I find it amusing somehow. But I don't know, like what the heck that is. I think you're actually supposed to get your gear by going to the shady guy in the alley, constantly and like always making orders. I don't go to the store ever anymore.
You only get this.
I don't go to the store ever.
You only get sea snails through Splatfest, right? So you can't really rely on that guy because you'll run out of it quickly.
No, because I meant by like when you meet the people in your plaza.
Yeah.
And then you order their gear, and then that's how I get all my new clothing.
Yeah.
I don't go to the store anymore because I don't understand why you would. To be honest, because
it's cheaper there because if you buy it from the
is it?
If you buy it from the shady guy, he jacks up the price. He's like, "Oh, you want this thing? It's like $20,000." I'm like,
"It's all
crap.
It's always like 30. It's always like 30,000." Oh, I didn't realize there was a price difference, but I guess the main thing would be that they come with 3 stars. At like autumn, if you're shopping correctly with the people when you're talking to the people in the the people you're picking from, and that's the only point to me. I'm like, well, I just want 3-star gear, so that's all I do. And then Shady Guy's got it, and it's fully 3-starred right away. I don't know. I'll have to look at that when I'm on there because I didn't realize there's a price difference.
Yeah, there's 3-star gear in the store. It's not incredibly common, but it can be there. But yeah, the only difference is that if you go to someone in your plaza, it's like, okay, I want that specific like headpiece or whatever, and it has this many stars, so yeah, I can buy it. Right. The only thing I don't kind of like, and maybe because I'm a cheap bugger, is when I go to someone's profile and I see their equipment, I'm like, oh, they have these 3 stars and they have these 3 traits or something, and then I buy it. I'm like, oh, I don't get those traits. I have to roll for them on my own. I'm like, crap, I wanted that for that reason.
Yeah, I caught on to that early on. That I realized, like, wait, I don't get the attributes that they have, and I'm not sure. I was wondering about this, and I don't know. I'm going to guess. It sounds like Mike hasn't played Splatoon.
Nope. Okay. I want to, but I just have I have to get Captain Toad before even Splatoon. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, Captain Toad's a really good game too. It's worthy, so that's a fair thing to hold out for. But yeah, so sorry to bore you with this. I just realized you hadn't commented on it.
I'm interested. I'm just confused.
Yeah, it's basically, we're talking for anyone who's listening at home that isn't familiar with it. The game, in a very nutshell, is that all your attributes are governed by the clothing you wear in the game, and there's only 3 different loadout slots. It's like you get a face plate or a hat or something like that. You get a shirt and you get shoes. And and each of those can have up to 4 attribute slots. So in those slots, you can there's a lot of different kind of power ups. You can get better defense, better offense, but then more nuanced things that are specific to the kind of game Splatoon is, like faster speed when you're swimming in the ink, or
quicker super jumps.
Yeah, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really nuanced ones that you'd have to specifically decide you want these attributes. Like if you're walking through enemy ink, your damage reduction is reduced. Things like that.
Because I saw that attribute, you can walk faster in enemy ink, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing that before.
I'm not sure. I couldn't say. I've never looked at the full over list of all the attributes. But the point that we were making specifically is that along with almost everything to do with Splatoon is that you don't get a lot of power over how it works. Your attributes are randomly rolled when you get a piece of clothing and you level it up. You basically, it's like Monster Hunter, you're leveling up your gear, not yourself. And so you level up your gear through experience as you battle. And when you hit certain benchmarks, then you get a new attribute, but it's random. It rolls it for you like a dice roll. And so you could end up with a really cool piece of a hat that has 3 defense points on it, and that would be awesome because that would be pretty rare. But you can't do that on purpose. The only thing you can do is re-roll the whole item if you have a credit for a re-roll, which you have to earn them over time through Splatfests and stuff like that. So you it's hard. You can't do it very often is basically the point. And so you end up in this little bit of like attributes are important, but they are not the center of the game. You kind of live with what you get a lot of times. And the point is you go to the store and you buy more and more gear for the hopes that you're going to eventually roll gear that will serve your particular desires. You know, currently I'm trying to like get higher defense stats, and I'm kind of prone to wanting to swim faster. So I'm like rolling or trying to buy new gear and randomly roll for that, you know, so that I can level up my character in those directions. I need better offense too, though, I've been thinking lately. So you really have to make a lot of decisions, and since you don't have direct control over it, it's kind of a long-term game. You got to play a lot, and you got to re-roll a lot, and you got to buy a lot of gear, and that's kind of the nutshell of it. So, you know, it's addictive too.
When you re-roll, let's say I fully leveled up my equipment and I have all 3 slots. If I re-roll, does it automatically re-roll all 3 slots, and I don't have to?
Yes.
So I don't have to earn experience anymore.
Yeah, you don't get to pick
Okay.
what it is, and yeah, you don't have to re-earn the experience.
Okay.
It's like if you
so.
use one of your shells on it, it's like you're getting a whole new item. It's like basically you'd only want to do it, to my understanding, if I have it correct, to something that basically sucked and you don't want to use. You know, if you have a set of shoes that it's just all attributes you don't care about, then you would re-roll it because you're just like, this is pointless. I never use it. And I'm at that point because after the Splatfest this weekend, that's the irony of that. Since these Splatfests, you know, they go on and all you have to do is sign up to be a part of it. Like you just go to the lobby and say, oh, I'm Team Marshmallow or whatever, and, you know, you're on the team. I didn't even have time to play, and I screwed up the time. I screwed up the time zones on top of that. I thought it was Saturday night to Sunday night, and it turns out it was Friday to Saturday. And so when I logged on, when I got home last night, I'm all ready and ramped up. I'm ready to go. You know, I'm going to do some splat in here and help Team Marshmallow. And it's like I log in, and the news bulletin comes on. It's like, Splatfest is over, you know, and we'll be telling you the news soon on who wins. And the most comical part is I didn't even play, but since I signed up for Team Marshmallow, and Team Marshmallow turned out to be the winner by the janky math that they use for who wins in Splatoon, I got like 4 credits. Like I got 4 winning points, even though all I did was basically say I support the winning team.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of comical, but it's totally Nintendo. It's like, hey, everyone's a winner. You know, like everyone gets a prize. You know, so,
well, I wonder what I get because I lost. I chose Hot Dog.
I think you still get a prize.
Yeah, because I remember the other Splatfest. I chose the one side and I won, and you lost. But you got, I think I got 4 sea snails. And,
I think I got 2.
Okay.
I think I got 2. Yeah, and for people listening that aren't familiar with it, the prize is basically a reroll of like one of your items. Like so, yeah, I got like 4 rerolls last night just because I like happened to go and say, yeah, I think marshmallows are better than hot dogs. You know, whatever. You know?
So I saw someone on Miiverse like, you can't roast a hot dog. I'm like, yes, you can. Do you eat them raw?
It was. I mean, it's typical Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's like parents who like give their kids prizes even when they lose a soccer game. You know, it's like, you're all winners. You know, it's typical Nintendo.
You're all winners, but you're more of a winner.
Yeah, you're slightly more of a winner, but you still get really good prizes if you lose. So it's cool.
Or if you don't play,
good.
or you know.
It's all good fun. I mean, the math is the most obviously hilarious thing because last night's win was the same as the first Splatfest, where the team that lost actually had more victories. Team Hot Dog had more victories, but there were like gargantuan number more people who signed up by percentages for Team Marshmallow, and however they calculate that, they weigh in the popularity of the team. And so I know that the second Splatfest came out correct, I believe, like correct mathematically, the team with the most victories actually won, which, you know, sounds absurd to even have to mention that, but that is not the case. As my understanding for last night's victory, I was like, oh, good God, this is going to make people just stop playing. It doesn't even matter. Like,
well, I mean,
more people like Marshmallow, so they won.
Yeah, I don't know. If you've been playing it for at least a month, you've probably gotten used to the whole game being random because it pretty much is. So it's just another thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the Mario Party philosophy when it comes to that. You know, you're like, well, you know, we're all happy.
Yeah, let's move on quickly. So speaking of Splatoon, in Japan they have a companion website. So it tracks all of your stats, like your points, your weapons, your weapon attributes, your... I was going to say kills. I don't know if it measures kills, but whatever. Across all modes and things like that. Like what map... and it also tells you what maps are playing throughout the day, and I think the modes, but it was in Japanese, so obviously I couldn't read it. So that's interesting. They'll say, like, between these hours, this these 2 or 3 maps are playing between these hours, these other maps. I think it's either the next 2 or 3 ones coming up, or like whatever modes are throughout the whole day. So that's interesting.
I looked at that too, and I used Google Translate to translate the sections of
Yeah.
it that you needed to figure out, and it was neat. I liked it. The neatest thing about it is the hardest one to understand, though. You can look at your friends, and it shows you how you're doing in comparison to your friends' network for the week or whatever. It's not permanent. It's like for a recent period of time or whatever.
Okay.
So that was cool. But like you said, with having the kanji and stuff like that, and then having to go through Google Translate for everything, it is fun. If anyone who's listening finds entertainment value out of watching Google Translate mess things up, because it really is funny the way it like tries to tell you what it's saying, because it sounds like old NES games with like really bad translation, So there's some humor value there too for you.
And because because I guess all the servers, everyone can play on. The maps that they show between those times works for everybody then, correct? Because we meet up with Japanese players, so...
Totally. I assume it's worldwide, because exactly, since I'd say overall, that's a really interesting factor about Splatoon. If you play in the evening, you play a majority of after like about 10:30, 11 at night, it's majority Japanese players in there. It's a lot of them. It's crazy, because you cannot read their names. It's just like, oh boy. Like, here comes like 6 guys whose names I can pronounce and Jim Bob.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
You can tell which side has the better team usually with how many names you can't pronounce.
Sometimes it depends.
We got creamed a couple of times, but we fought back pretty good.
We've had some really epic matches. Yeah. Like it's been really fun. I'm really enjoying squads now that we can like do matchmaking with buddies. So, Mike, it's time for you to get the game, man. You can join your buddies, and it's really killer. It's not like Smash where you only want to, like mainly fight for yourself, because since Splatoon, it's quite literally a platoon, and you really rely on each other. It's really addictive in that way. And we've been using Skype, not like voice chat, but just like kind of chatting between matches. And there's not much to really talk about in terms of strategy. You know what the strategy is. It's like kill the other team, paint the world, don't screw up. You don't really need voice chat, is what it's becoming clear to me. I guess
it's because it's a 3-minute match. There's not much you can say.
Yeah, go get him.
Yeah.
You yelling the same thing the whole time. You'd be like, dude. That's all you'd be yelling. You'd be like, dude, they splatted me. Dude, they splatted me. I'm starting to get why they didn't make it a focus, because what would I be saying to you other than, they're coming down the left side, and you're like, yeah, I know, I have a map too. And it'd be like, oh yeah, okay, well then we should stop them. Good plan, like
There's nothing to say. So also in Japanese news, Mario is getting a Super Mario 30th anniversary soundtrack. It's spanning pretty much every main Mario game, so that's kind of neat. Retro Studios designed the mechs in Federation Force, so that's kind of interesting. Little Battlers Experience, which is kind of like a Metabots game, has a demo at GameStop on August the 7th. Wait, what day is it today? Oh, it's 2 days ago. Well, I rate these things a week ahead, so whatever. I think that game looks pretty cool.
Nice.
What was the other thing? Oh, so one last big piece of news is Mighty Number 9 is officially delayed until Q1 of 2016. So it's basically delayed by at least 4 to 6 months. And the reason they said is kind of sketchy to me. So they basically said the whole game is done and developed. They just need this delay for bugs and online features, which seems awfully... It seems way too long just for bugs. For 4 months for bug testing, like that's insane. I'm guessing they didn't work on the online mode at all, but I don't know that you're pulling. I don't think the online mode requires separate development. Like I don't think there's any different levels. I think it's just you're playing the same levels with someone else to some extent. So I have no clue why it would need that much time. I don't know. I kind of think something else is going up because Inafune's been not so clear with this whole Kickstarter and whatnot. There's also no updates on the 3DS or Vita versions, which were supposed to come out sometime after the console ones. It was never given like an official date, but it's still not good that they haven't updated that at all. And apparently, as of 2 weeks ago, another studio called Abstraction Games is going to be porting it instead of Engine Software. The issue with this is that apparently Abstraction Games had a bunch of problems with porting Terraria on the Vita, which included like game crashing bugs, whether it's a manual save or an auto save. So that doesn't sound good. It sounds like they're kind of trying to cut corners, possibly. And they also officially announced this after the Red Ash Kickstarter, which seems fishy. So it seems like they because there were already rumors of these delays from retailers like a couple of weeks ago, and they only announced it quote unquote officially like a couple of days after Red Ash. So it sounds like, oh, we didn't want to announce it before because then people would have stopped donating to Red Ash altogether, even though it didn't make its Kickstarter goal anyway. So that's weird. I wrote as my conspiracy theory that Inafune delayed it so he could get money to put towards Red Ash, kind of like Randy Pitchford did with Aliens, because basically Randy Pitchford, as far as I know, took development money from Colonial Marines and then put it towards Borderlands 2. So I'm thinking maybe Inafune delayed this so he could take the money from Mighty Number 9 and put it towards Red Ash. I don't know. That's my pie in the sky thing. So yeah, that's the backers aren't too happy about that.
I think that game looks neat. Yeah. I'm not like as amped as some people out there might be for that game, but I'm I'm a fan of Mega Man, obviously, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm just not like, I'm not dying for it. I will definitely be playing it when and if it arrives on the consoles of my choice, So a delay to me isn't the end of the world, though I don't typically support Kickstarters, so it doesn't, no skin off my nose. I'm looking forward to it when it gets here,
I don't know. I was interested at first, and then I got kind of disinterested because it wasn't like Mega Man. It's all about watching your patterns and making sure you have to kill the enemy to progress, whereas this, you just kind of zap through the enemy. Like, it's more of a speedrun type of game. But last week when I played their other game they made, Azure Striker Gunvolt, that's pretty much a speedrun game, but I actually really like that. So I think I might like Mighty Number 9 more than I initially thought. It shows how much people have lost interest because they stated that only half of the backers have completed the survey to say which platform they want the game on. So all the people who donated money, they're like, here's a survey, please tell us what platform you want this on, and only half of them will said it, so that doesn't spell good news out either. And then the last weird little thing I thought I'd throw in is every year, or almost every year, there's a new Just Dance game, and they usually plug in like the newest popular songs, blah blah blah. The weird thing is, in all these years, I don't think they have Just Dance from Lady Gaga, which seems obvious to me. And they have Lady Gaga songs, so it's not like it's out of the realm. I don't know, I thought that was weird. But the weird thing is, the Angry Birds theme is going to be in the new Just Dance game. And there's a video of Just Dance. They show like the people dancing on screen. You're supposed to follow them, and it's just so stupid. Like, some of it is a dance, and then later they just kind of like bump into each other, like chuck themselves at each other. I'm like, this to like resemble the game of like shooting the bird at the pig. I'm like, this is not a dance. Someone got paid to put this in. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it is. It's a marketing move because they know Angry Birds. It's a pathetic marketing move, to be honest with you, in my eyes. But maybe it works on kids. Who knows? They're like, the hot new thing, Angry Birds. Yeah, that should be in our game. Yeah, the hot new thing, guys. That ship has sailed. Like, you do know that's not a hot new game anymore. But whatever. Hey, not our cup of tea. They're aiming at a different market. Yeah. They can, whatever.
I mean, it's still popular because they still have like dog chew toys and crap. Like Angry Birds.
You do
versions,
see that.
So
you do see that quite a bit, don't you? Yeah, you do. You see quite a bit of Angry Birds merchandise out in the world still at this point. It is true.
Yeah.
So
that just upsets me.
Yeah, I've never played the game, so I can say I never supported it, but I've heard it's fun. That's all I can really say.
It's all right,
I've heard it's
but
fun.
I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't bug me because I don't play the game anyway or care. I don't mind not paid advertising, but I don't mind this kind of promotion if they put in the game if it makes sense for the game, like the BMW with Mario Kart, because it's kart racing, so it's a car, so that's fine.
Yeah,
But
it sort of makes sense.
it
sort of
it's
makes sense.
related. But this is just like we want some extra money, or Angry Birds paid us, so this is the reason. Yeah, I'll send you the link later.
It's a two-way street for them. They figure like, hey, it can't hurt. Is there because that's their reasoning. They're like, it can't hurt. Like, what like there's going to be someone out there who doesn't buy this game because of the bird content. So
everyone should watch the music video thing because it's just so ridiculously stupid.
Neat.
But unless you guys had, I think that about closes up today. Unless you guys had anything you wanted to talk about.
Feelings. I didn't talk about my feelings enough. No, I'm good. I'm starving. I haven't eaten a meal other than some vegetables and hummus for like lunch. So I'm down. I'm down with closing it out.
All right, Mike. Did you want to say anything since you've been fairly quiet?
Some call me Chief, bit of a freeloader, but I bought cups for that old school soda. I don't mean to brag, I don't mean to boast, but here's some hummus for those mini toes.
What the heck is that from?
And on that note,
did you make that up?
What? No, of course not. It's regular show.
I thought it was going to be regular show just because the way you said it then. You're like, mini toast, and I could totally see Mordecai and Rigby say that. Oh my gosh!
I feel honored to have received that on in reference to my lunch. So sweet.
So
all right, guys.
I think that about closes out today. So why don't we go around and say where we're from? Wow, I don't even remember how to close out this show. So I'll start out with myself in case you have to get the phone. So I'm the Mango Viking on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm just about done finishing a video tribute to Awada, which I think is kind of neat because it's different than what everyone else has done. It focuses on his catalog more than everything else everyone has said with his personal stories or like his programming stories. So by the time this podcast goes up, it should be up. So check out for that. So Mike, why don't you go next?
Hi guys. I'm Mike, Troy Filibuster on Twitter and Twitch, and then SMB Gaming 64 on YouTube. I think, tomorrow the last part of our Banjo-Tooie multiplayer comes out, but we got a 5-part Mario Party 1 coming out. It's kind of funny and hilarious and bullshit at the end because Chance sucks. And the only way I ever lose in Mario Party is due to chance time bullshit. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, alright? Because it will make me angry thinking about it. Freaking chance time. Stupidest thing, man. It's stupid. Who the hell? Stupid chance time. Takes no skill. Okay?
I did all the work and now you're leeching off me, you freeloader.
Yeah, basically. It's like, oops, I accidentally won because of chance time.
Well, the worst thing is,
no.
At the end, they just randomly hand out stars to people. They're like, you stepped on this many spaces the most, or you did this random thing.
Hey, I always win all those stars. That's my shit, alright? It's like, win the most minigames. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And it's like, win the most cash. I'm like, oh, that's right. I rack it in. But it's like, it was too close to the game, man. It was too close. I couldn't deliver on those, man.
Oh, man.
They took my stuff. They took my germs. Alright.
Alright, Unoclay, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
Oh, you can find me on my IGN. We don't care about live fire. We just keep going. We just keep hanging in there no matter how bad the site gets and how long it takes him to fix this. That's mainly where I am these days. I'm going to be out of town quite a bit the next couple of weeks, so anyone who's listening from the IGN groups, don't miss me too hard. I'll be back once fall settles down a little bit. I'll probably be more active, but I've been pretty good about checking in this summer because I've been playing a lot of games and I need to keep chatting about them with people. So thanks for giving me an opportunity and let me come on again.
Oh, yeah,
thanks
of course,
a lot, guys.
anytime.
Alrighty.
Be safe on your travels.
Yeah.
Be safe. Thank you. You too. You too. Be safe at the academy and be safe in Canada because it's one of the most dangerous places ever,
in
Matt.
winter it is.
Like, they have to. What was it again? October.
Yeah.
Yeah, be safe in your October, Canada, bro.
Or smarch weather. Hey, we got like 9 months of freezing weather, so
Nice.
anyway. Thanks for coming on, Unoclay. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks,
So we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.